happened? The seed can't go up there. Everything up there rotten. Somebody said, I can't hear the house up in here. You see what happened? They say, what happened to this preacher, man? Nothing happened to me. If you go up on YouTube, just type in some of the stuff I'm saying is right up there, and your children are looking at it. Somebody say, But somebody got to be like Nehemiah, rise up and to take the bull by its horn. Somebody say, hallelujah. Come on, put your hands together. Hallelujah. When I'm finished preaching, meet me afterwards. Oh, both of us will tangle and wrestle and do body slam. Somebody say, hallelujah. But we can't be foolish up in the house. Somebody say, don't be foolish up in the house. Oh, hallelujah. But God's way is to find a mate. God's way is to find a mate who loves you, hallelujah, will take care of you first, and then treat you like a lady, treat you like a gentleman, open the door for you, take you to a good restaurant, pay the tip and pay for your food. Those days are over now. Woo, I can't hear the house up in here. If he doesn't tip well, pass him on. He ain't gonna tip you well neither. Pass him. I ain't hear nobody preaching like when I'm preaching like a Baptist preacher. Somebody say, Yeah. Somebody said, we gotta take it back. Somebody say, we gotta take it back. We're rebuilding the lives of our young people. Wait until the right man comes. Wait until the right woman comes. What you do, how you wait, you pray and you make your list and you tell God what you want and he'll send it to you. Somebody say, marry that bad boy when he comes, and that is on your list that you're looking for. And marry that girl. Somebody say hallelujah. And to begin your family. Somebody say hallelujah. The enemy hates family. The enemy hates, and we got to rebuild the family, rebuild marriage. Because as a Christian, when you begin to reproduce and multiply, that's a God's seed coming into your house, where you can have devotion and teach them how to be devoted to God. Coming out on your own. Somebody say hallelujah. Come on, put your hands together. Put your hands together and bless God. Somebody say hallelujah. We gotta fight for our seed, fight for our worship. And in John 4:24 it says that we must fight for our worship. Somebody say hallelujah. That we must worship God in spirit and in truth. As we rebuild, if we worship Him in spirit and truth, we will add something to our spirituality. We will fast and we will pray. Somebody say hallelujah. We will take back the things that the enemy has in wreck and ruin in our church and our spirituality, and we will take them back and we'll say, devil, stop. Not so, not up in my house. Somebody shout and say hallelujah. Woo! All right, put your hands together. We got to fight. Somebody say we got to fight. We got to fight for our family, fight for our faith, the faith that was given to us, and then we must fight for our future. Somebody say fight for our future. And I think that's my maybe last point. He says, and I looked and arose in Nehemiah 4 verse 14. And I looked and arose and said to the nobles, everybody said nobles, and to the leaders and the rest of the people, everyone has to get in it together. We cannot be like the crab in our community, in church, in our family. And what is happening is that we got to come together. In some families there are some rich ones, and sometimes the rich one wants to get everything. Somebody said And some people, they have the ability to sign land over to the poorer ones, and they will not do it. As we drive around in Canton, we drive around Savannah. Now the government, public works, has to come in with the tear down truck and break it down, because families can't come together to pay the land tax and to build something and put it on rent. You just nod your head. Somebody say nod your head. God promises us to at least 70 years to live. 80 years the max. And by reason of strength, if you have somebody to mix up some nice food and feed you, you go to about 90 or 100. Somebody say And so therefore we have to forgive and forget and move on and live and let live. Somebody say hallelujah. And pull somebody up together. Come on, somebody prophesy. And so we got to pull one another up in the Virgin Islands. Come on, I can't hear the house up here. Pull one another up. Woo! Somebody say hallelujah. And so the nobles, those of noble blood, leaders, the rest of the people, do not be afraid of the coalition that Sanballat and Tobiah wants to bring up. Don't be afraid of the talk shows. You can talk is cheap. But what about the Virgin Islands Incorporated? So we start to scholarship in our young people. We start fixing our own roads, building homes for people. When we say for the homeless and all that, who will take the lead on that thing? Come on, I can't hear you. Somebody prophesy in the wind. Somebody say, who will take that prophetic lead? I can't hear you. Come on, prophesy. Who will take that prophetic lead in this land? Somebody say hallelujah. Call the nobles, call the leaders, and the rest of the people. Do not be afraid of the coalition. Don't be afraid of the talk shows. Don't be afraid of what people are saying around the Virgin Islands. Do not be afraid of them. Remember the Lord. Somebody say remember. We got to remember the Lord. Great and awesome. Somebody said we got to remember God. What happened is that we have forgotten God, how good he has been to us. Some of our parents told us that we were stillbirth and they had to be there fanning us, giving us air and all kind of stuff, but you have grown up, God has blessed you, and then we have forgotten God. Somebody say hallelujah. It's time. Somebody's trying to say it's time to remember God. When God has been good to you and has given you so much life added to you, and you have known some of your friends who have died tragic deaths and died on the hospital bed at Roy Leicester Schneider, died in Puerto Rico.